welcome to this explainer on the For the Wise podcast. Before we jump in, please take a quick second to like, comment, share, and subscribe so we can keep bringing you these deep dives. So today we are exploring a truly fascinating and honestly kind of mind-boggling phenomenon. We're looking at why obvious, blatant, easily disprovable lies hold such a massive sway over our minds. We're going to dive right into exactly how our brains get hacked by the impossible. To kick things off, we really have to start with this brilliant observation from our source material, because it perfectly frames our whole investigation. We aren't talking about minor inaccuracies or little white lies today. We're talking about brazen, outrageous falsehoods. And as this points out, these lies carry absolutely zero ontological authority, which is basically just a fancy way of saying they have absolutely no basis in objective reality. None whatsoever. But, and here is the kicker, despite being completely detached from facts, they possess this terrifying amount of psychological force. So, here's our map for today. First, the anatomy of a blatant lie. Second, why we believe the impossible. Third, identity and the echo chamber. Fourth, real-world consequences. And finally, number 5, building psychological resilience. Let's get into it. Part 1, anatomy of a blatant lie and the epistemological divide. Okay, so there is this profound disconnect between these two realms. On the left side, we have objective reality. Think about it like this. If you tell a lie and claim the sun won't rise tomorrow, the Earth's physical rotation literally does not care. Reality doesn't bat an eye. But over on the right side, we have human belief in action. And the thing is, a lie undeniably changes how people feel, how they think, and how they vote. So the power of a blatant lie doesn't actually come from the truth at all. It comes from somewhere else entirely. Moving right along to part 2, why we believe the impossible, exploring the hidden mechanisms. The first hidden mechanism we need to talk about is the big lie. Now, this is a terrifying principle that was famously coined in Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf. And it argues that the sheer, colossal audacity of a lie perversely makes it more believable. It's crazy, right? But the flawed human logic basically goes like this. We assume someone might lie about, say, a minor mistake, but they would absolutely never invent something so massive and so easily disprovable. Because of that wild assumption, the absolute scale of the lie ends up becoming this twisted form of credibility. And this whole dynamic, it totally thrives on emotional resonance. Just look at the complex truth here on the left. The economy is a globalized system with multifaceted causes for wage stagnation. It's nuanced, it's complicated, and actually, let's be honest, it's a bit boring. Now look at the compelling lie on the right. They are stealing your jobs. See, our brains are fundamentally kind of lazy. We naturally prefer a simple, satisfying cognitive shortcut that gives us a clear villain. Outrageous lies offer this easy shortcut that complicated reality just cannot compete with. All right, part 3. Identity and the echo chamber, focusing on tribalism and trust. So this brings us to a really crucial concept called a shibboleth. Believing or repeating a falsehood can essentially become a badge of membership. In a way, accepting the lie becomes this strict test of loyalty to your specific group. In highly polarized environments, if you question the lie, you are betraying your tribe. And sadly, our deep psychological need to belong is almost always stronger than our commitment to actual facts. Then we have to look at the illusory truth effect. Psychologists know that simply repeating a lie over and over increases belief. On day 1, you get that initial exposure. By week 2, that falsehood is being shouted across social networks. Fast forward to month 1, and your brain actually starts mistaking mere familiarity for actual truth. And by year 1, it just feels true. It becomes accepted reality, entirely detached from the fact that it was literally made up out of thin air on day 1. Furthermore, these falsehoods actively weaponize our cynicism. They leverage this pre-existing erosion of trust that a lot of people have in major institutions, like the government, the media, or the scientific community. The lie isn't meant to be judged against a trusted source. Instead, it positions itself as the only truth left in a world full of deception. It's a brilliant closed-loop system, really. Any outside fact-checking is automatically dismissed as just another part of the grand conspiracy. Which leads us to part 4, real-world consequences and the costs of these falsehoods. Make no mistake, these psychological quirks have severe, tangible fallout. In the realm of political propaganda, the big lie about a stolen election can mobilize masses of people and shape reality, becoming completely immune to contrary evidence. With conspiracy theories, like claims of 9/11 being an inside job, the lie forges powerful bonds by giving believers a really comforting sense of secret knowledge in a chaotic world.
And in commercial scams, objectively false claims, like promising you can lose 30 pounds in 30 days, prey directly on our psychological desperation for a quick, easy fix.
Finally, part 5, building psychological resilience and finding the path forward. Because this huge disconnect between reality and psychology exists, simply throwing facts at a lie will almost always fail. We've all been there, right? You show someone the data, and it doesn't even make a dent. Emotion and identity trump factual data every time. The psychological force of a falsehood can easily overwhelm its total lack of reality. So we really have to realize that the battle isn't over what is objectively true. It's a battle over which narrative feels more comforting and affirming to an individual's identity. Understanding this dynamic is absolutely the first step in building societal resilience. Well, that wraps up this explainer on the For the Wise podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the mechanisms that shape our world. As you go about your week, I want you to really ask yourself, in a world where emotion so often trumps fact, how will you protect your own psychological reality when comfort clashes with objective truth? Think about it. Catch you in the next explainer.